I didn't get it. At least in the first quarter, that's what it looked like.
That play where Tatum just nonchalantly throws the ball back and T. Rozier picks it off for the layup in the first quarter, to me was the game in a nutshell.
That's where it all fell apart. Yeah,
that's honestly might be the play you remember from the season.
Absolutely. We didn't realize at that moment that was going to be the game in a nutshell right there.
That might be the signature play of the season. Jimmy doesn't think so.
Low light. One of the signature low light.
You have to.
It's just emblematic of the who gives a shit blase. Just the worst ever. And a former teammate of yours who left. Who you got rid of is like
that was very symbolic that it was Terry Rozier.
He's like, thanks, losers.
Or how about Wanamaker with those floaters? I'm like, oh man, that was like your.
Well, stick on that Tatum play for a second.
That when he was on the Celtics, man, he was giving it to him.
I know everyone says, and we've talked about it at various points this season, that you can't bench guys. They don't do that in the NBA. Blah 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 blah. If you're ever gonna do it, it has to be there, even for like 30 seconds. You know, they go into a timeout.
Yeah.
Kemba's giving him an earful. Obviously, there was a big discussion on the sideline after that. But you just have to sit him down, reset, get his focus in the right place at the very least, and then send him back in there. To just run it out again after that, I thought was a terrible look. And it showed throughout the course of the game. Bunch of dead stretches, the defense obviously being an issue. But I thought the offense was as much of an issue. The movement wasn't there. It was just individuals trying to figure it out.
Perk said it on Locker Room last time. You know, I mean, how many times did he talk about, stuff that the coach has to do, and you absolutely should bench a guy if he's not playing well and if he's not doing stuff like I do not understand not pulling Tatum out of the game there at that time. That was an absolute message. Like, listen, guy, you're not there yet. And this is inexcusable. We have got one problem right now, and we keep bringing it up over and over again. We're really loose with the basketball, and we're losing this game, and you're just flipping it back there. And it's that general nonchalance he plays with from time to time that does drive people crazy.
It's what watched the game on Saturday or Friday.
Last game, but
John, I thought you would have liked the emphatic, wholesome substitution that he did. I thought that was a message right there. No, you didn't think so? The dead ball, the full, wholesale substitution.
Yeah, they did it a few minutes later.
They did it later, though. That moment right there, you call a timeout.
You wanted it right there?
He's on the court to call a timeout before the layup even goes in. You sit him on the bench, at least Tatum on the bench. I would have pulled all the starters right there.
That's what I was thinking.
I would have taken the whole unit out.
To see that moment happen right then and
there. I tweeted it. I said, bench them all. But at that moment, at the very least, Tatum, because you missed a shot to send a message, but also to the rest of your team that those guys aren't accountable. Like I said, I joked about it last game that Tatum's on an 8-second violation waiting to happen every single game. That nonchalance is a freaking killer. And people feed off it. Everyone's talking about like energy, like
play with it against the way Charlotte plays.
Play versus Charlotte. They play with energy and they end up with open threes on the back end of those things. Like,
and that's my point too.
You don't have the artillery to match that exactly. Like you can't play like Charlotte. I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. That's the same attitude I'm talking about. That nonchalantness. That in that fourth quarter when the offense went stagnant. I mean, I just don't. Some of those layups, the up and under, like getting to the rim, just not getting it to fall though, like. It was tough, man. It was just frustrating to see, especially in the fourth quarter when they're 4 for 12 to start at the fourth. It's like, okay, well, this isn't happening. No comeback.
And for the analytics people out there, Tatum was a minus 28.
Analytics are not. You want to look at a simpler? Yeah.
Your best player, minus 28?
Like a minus 28. He was invisible except for when he was doing something that was wrong or was something that was lazy or careless. Like, you just can't have these massive swings from your superstar player. There has to be some level of consistency at the top, or everything below you just falls completely out of whack. Like, oh god, this is a game where Tatum's invisible. Okay, hit the panic button. All of a sudden you've got guys coming in off the bench that are playing, in positions that they don't typically play in. They're playing more minutes than they should, and there's just no flow to the game. It takes a while for, when your top guy is just completely out of it. Takes a few minutes for everyone to be like, okay, Tatum doesn't have it tonight. Let's, recalibrate here. And now, Brown's got to be, 2.0 and Kemba's got to, drop. Now you're banking on 25, 30 from Kemba if you want to have a prayer. It's like, you just can't have 55-point Jayson Tatum and then, 10-point Jayson Tatum. I know he ended up with 19, but we're talking about points that didn't even matter by the end.
Well, it's not, again, Josue mentioned going back to the last game with the turnovers late. It's a bunch of stuff. That lazy turnover there earlier in the game, just emblematic of the effort. But he had another one late in the game where he he had a frustrating night shooting. Fine. He missed one down low. Might have been a putback. I forget what it was. And Charlotte went the other way. It ended up with that behind the back pass for the dunk on the baseline. Was it Washington? I can't remember who. But it wasn't quite a transition bucket. They came back, passed it twice around in a half-court set before they ended up with that basket 5-on-4. That's because Tatum was still jogging back and had just crossed half court and just appeared in frame at the 3-point line after Charlotte had already been whipping the ball around and setting up that bucket. That shit is embarrassing. And I went back and watched it again. He missed it and he hung his head and just 1 second later started jogging back.
It's back to square one after a great month.
Not do that
after a great month. The whole team's back to square one.
You know what can't do it. You can't be the best player on the team and do that. You can't do it.
I think you especially can't do it because I think opposing teams they're hip to it. You know, they're programmed to know as soon as you get a turn, as soon as you get that ball in transition, shoot it up the floor because there's going to be a 4-on-5 or 5-on-4. You know, like. They know that the Celtics is going to be outnumbered because the guys aren't going to get back. It's in their DNA now. This is part of their identity. The secret's out. You know what I mean? Like it's the same pattern. You could see all 5 guys from Charlotte, all 5 starters from the Hornets. They were all programmed that way defensively. This
was pretty much the same exact game as Friday. So you put the whole weekend in context, and that's what makes it so devastating. You can't write it off as a one-off loss. They did.